Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our fourth and final game of day one of the Heroic League. As we see Team Sword taking on Blue Bio Zoo. And I'm very excited to watch this. You know, we have one of our oldest teams. They've been here since season one, if I recall correctly. And Team Sword, our newest team in the league. They're the last one to qualify.
Yeah, it was very close, and we actually saw in the first day of qualifiers, these two teams actually went at it on the first day head-to-head in a best-of-3 series. And to be honest, it was a little one-sided on that. So but I do know there was some behind-the-scenes stuff going on with that, as far as like a roster switch-up and stuff. So I'm really excited to see if the time between now and then has changed for them at all, and exactly what their new strategy for coming at them after already playing them once is going to be.
Yeah, and I'm excited to watch our very own Chris Songo, aka Cross Songo, playing down in that support role. You know, we're gonna see how he does here. He's been talking some mad smack all week about well, since we got the schedule out about Swords. Like, we're gonna take them down. This is gonna be easy. And I don't know. I think so. I think Sword's gonna come in with a chip on their shoulder after that best of 3. Like you said, it was kind of one-sided, and I think they're gonna be looking to get some vengeance here today. So we see them grab a nice team fight comp so far. They've got the Poppy, which I'm guessing is going top. The Thresh, the Zir, some good solid picks right there. I would take it that they're going to maybe try to grab more of a bruiser jungle, maybe an Olaf, We do see that the Udyr and the Gragas are banned. Might even see a Lilia, honestly, for sleeps. And maybe, I don't know, I think a Kai'Sa would be good. Thresh and Kai'Sa is a really good combo.
That's absolutely a stunning matchup, especially it's so good, it's so safe, it gives you a good laning because with Thresh being able to cover up that Kai'Sa lack of mobility, and then she just scales right into the game naturally. I think she's in a really good spot overall. And like these picks are kind of interesting on the side of BBZ. This isn't really something we've really seen in Heroic usually picked up, or in GE last year with this Nidalee pick. And then Janna is also isn't one we've seen too often. It kind of makes me think they're going for like some type of maybe siege comp, you know, with a Janna disengage on top of like Nidalee throwing spears safely. That would be my thought on it. But
Yeah, I'm thinking like a long range hyper carry that can just shred turrets and the Janna can protect. I used to main Janna for a long time, so I'm going to be watching out how Chris plays this. I'm going to be very critical if he doesn't max W first. I know a lot of people like to get Tornado or like to get E. I like the W because it's got a really absurd amount of base damage built into it, and it's just free poke and like just see an enemy, chuck a bird at it. You know, throw a bird, put a bird on it. That's how you solve all the problems with Janna. As we're getting into the second half of this pick and ban phase, to see if BBZ grabs their AD carry here, and I'm guessing they're going to hold that to the last pick, and we're going to see the mid laner pop up here. And gonna guess maybe, I don't know, maybe an Ori, I guess, if you're going, oh, no, never mind, that was Quako's and Akali.
they knew what they wanted, yeah. But yeah, it's kind of strange. I think my theory might be right, just because with an AD being open, Severe seems like someone that, you know, would be someone that could engage on them against the Janna protection. And Cho'Gath too, a little bit to that degree. And honestly, them leaving their AD carry open last is kind of interesting too. So I'm wondering exactly what this priority for this pick is. Like, what's the big deal here?
Yeah, and with a Kai'Sa coming out, I'm guessing then we're gonna get that bruiser jungle we were talking about earlier. You know, I really think it's gonna be Olaf. I think Olaf fits this comp really well. He goes charging forward. The Janna ult can't stop him. Renekton can't stop him. It kind of defeats the entire purpose of the disengage that BBZ has drafted for themselves. But that's kind of something that I'm not sure we see it. We haven't seen as much even in the past in Heroic League on it, but actually it's going to be a Scion. So I think that's actually Poppy Jungle.
A Poppy Jungle? Okay. I can't recall. Have you ever heard of Poppy Jungle in our series yet?
In this series, no. In the past, yes. Poppy Jungle used to be really, really good. There's quick clears. It's really good in invading because you just slam your opponent into one of the millions of walls in the jungle, and with the Q, you basically can like half health them, especially early on in the game. And in this case, I actually think it's a really smart move because there's a Renekton, a Nidalee, and an Akali. They all want to jump on a target. You can't do that with Poppy, though. Poppy just puts down the W and just goes, no. Just basically makes you sit down, slaps you in the... Get the hell out of here. This is my land right here. So I think that's actually like smart, and it was good bait, too. Poppy does not do that well under Renekton, but Scion actually does pretty good. It's pretty much a skill matchup, and he'll scale super well. And BBZ, you know, they've got a traditional comp here. Renekton, Nidalee is very good. They've got the Assassin. They've got that late game scaling carry with the Varus. I gotta ask you, who do you think is going to take this match, based on what you see?
Just based off what I see, I really like that BBZ is like doing a strategy that we don't usually see, and if they can pull it off, it's going to be really good. But I think it is harder, and for that reason, I think SWO just has easier execution that I think they're going to be able to take it.
I'm going to have to agree with that, too. I put we were guessing earlier about who was going to take the games today, and I think it is going to be Sword. I think that like I was saying earlier, they got the chip on their shoulder, but I actually think with this composition, if it gets late and the Akali and the Renekton are not fed, or even the Varus, if none of them get super far ahead, Sword will outscale them. They will have so much more team fight potential as we get onto the Rift right here for our last game of the day. Sword versus BBZ onto the Rift. And I'm wondering if you're going to see an invade early on from these teams.
I can see that, especially when they're piling up here. Yeah, with this Thresh hook, this Poppy, I could see so many engaged things happening. Please
They're going
walk
to try
in
to
red light.
catch Docs. Docs, you got to be careful. He's walking forward. Oh, he gets the hook. That is a free kill in first blood. 35 seconds or so into the game. And it goes over to Kentucky with a nice early lead for the Kaisa.
Yeah, that was just nice. I mean, I would think that that's something you just have to watch out for, knowing that if you're gonna just run into a certain direction, that Thresh and the Scion are just they love sitting in bushes waiting for stuff like that. So kind of a bit of a misstep that I think could have been foreseeable, but that's all right. I love the pacing that we're already getting. In exchange, BBZ also got to put it down award here on the red, so they're gonna have the information to know. Yeah, I mean, you usually kind of know that's where they're starting, but it's always so good, just to have solid confirmation of.
Yeah, you always just want that just in case. And the Kaisa grabbed herself a dagger, so she's going to have quite a bit of agency in this lane, especially with the Var starting tier. He's not going to really have any trading damage, per se. So I would expect that Percival and Kentucky put a lot of pressure early on in this game. Try to get that early advantage and be able to secure the first dragon, which is going to be a Mountain Drake, which I think is super actually important for this comp. It's going to add just a little bit of extra tank stats to help survive the assassins, but also to make their front line just that harder to get through.
Yeah, and again, like what I'm seeing from BBZ and the way I'm expecting this to go is that they just need damage to get on the Varus and Italy, and then it just becomes this, right, let's go for objectives and siege them up. Let's not engage in a fight. Let's make sure Janet just keeps them away while we just keep poking them down, and hopefully they get frustrated.
Yeah, like I said, the bird, you just max the bird and just poke. It's like, I think at max level, if I remember correctly, it's like 240 damage or something on hit, maybe about 200. It's been a minute since I've played her this season, but yeah, it's a lot, especially with very few resistances early on. So good way to trade, and I mean, you don't really need that many points early on into Q and E. A lot of the scaling comes later. Stacks going in onto Aqua pair with lights. I think he's just gonna get out though scot-free, and Mila trading on the top side there. Everyone trying to skirmish. You can see BBZ looking to find some place that they can attack, try to get back in this game.
Yeah, and I think that it was kind of a strange priority gank. A colleague doesn't provide much CC, which is like, if then in that case, if Millie misses a spear, you just kind of walk away very sad. Meanwhile, I think that the ideal target here would be maybe the Scion, just because the Renekton, it's not a skill shot CC, it's an automatic hit. And I think back in the Diamond Under in our last season, the equivalent of Mythic, we saw that from Team Ace. We just saw Torres and Sunga in the top lane. Now Burst Limit just did that combo on repeat in the playoffs, and it worked out really well for them.
Yeah, and Cadmus going in onto Chris. That right there, though, no one going to get anything but a little bit of a trade. Kentucky taking a good amount of damage right there. And there goes the bird. Cross, he's getting a little bit close right there. Got to be a little bit careful, though. If that Thresh gets him with another hook or an E, he's basically dead. The shield is nice, but when you don't have any, when you already have a dagger up with the Kaisa, you gotta be a little bit extra careful there. Gotta not avoid giving her any more kills and letting her snowball.
I don't mind that play personally. And here's why: it's really just that they forced the Thresh, so they knew he had to walk all the way around. So even though Janet took all that damage, it really wasn't that much, because she has way more potions than the Kaisa. And there was no threat of Thresh coming out of the top side into the bottom minion lane. So I think it was actually well played.
Oh, I meant afterwards when she was walking into the bush, getting a little aggro there with the Janna, thinking she's the Senna or the Maokai again, looking for something.
It's just in my contract that I have to protect our producer, otherwise he cuts his salary in half. So.
That's fair. We were told that we have to if we want that KBBQ later. Alrighty, 5 minutes in. Gold lead only 500, so it's basically just that kill. Nothing has really expanded since then. Sword not yet able to push anything on that. I'm wondering, though, where this Nidalee is going to go. She's already done her first clear. She's got to be looking for somewhere to get a gank on. She can do a pretty early gank. Wonder if she, like you said, if she attacks the Scion or if she looks for this Azir here.
Yeah,
But
I don't believe Renekton is playing well enough that Italy can do much to help. So I think she's kind of just forced to keep going mid if they want to force a play. I also don't really mind this play to like, go let's go just take some jungle camps. Especially they've secured both scuttles, and surprisingly, Poppy's actually not down too far other than that. So they've actually been managing their jungle pathing pretty well, and it's pretty interesting also because their jungler sword, even though they're all a new team, the only person we have returning is Elk Milk, who was in DU last season as Lamb Thighs on Troglodyte Face Degenerate. So
oh, I didn't know that was lamb thighs. It makes sense though. Lamb thighs to
yeah,
elk milk. Got to keep up with that deer thematic going on here. As Renekton gets the ult off, he's going forward. A flash out from the Scion keeps him safe. He's gonna walk out of that one just fine. Looking like the dragon's gonna be the goal right here though for BBZ. That's the call to go in. The rest of the team rotating over. Lights is here just to make sure the Azir doesn't sneak over. Poppy not really in position, having speaking of Elk Milk, to get into this dragon, and I think they're just going to let it go over, not really try to contest it. I have to see, though, what one comes after. It's going to be Infernal next, so it's going to be Ocean Soul or Cloud Soul. And I have to ask you, which one do you think will benefit more each team? Or are they hoping for to get?
I would say Sword would love an Ocean Soul. Because again, with BBZ, I think they're going for this poke thing. That's what they need.
Yeah, makes sense. And Scion a little bit wide there, missing with the train, but I agree with that. I think Cloud also works really well for BBZ. You know, their ults are very much about mobility, at least for Nidalee, Renekton, and Akali. So getting that extra bit of speed to get onto their targets will be super beneficial if they can get a hold of it. So I can see what they're both looking for right there. I'm sure, though, they both would have loved to have had an Infernal Soul. It always helps clear out the game.
Yeah.
Ooh, gank on the bottom side. Cadmus has to flash out. He looks like he's going to get out scot-free. The spear goes in, though. Dax looking for something, but Cadmus does get the shield down, and he's going to walk out. Dax very low, though, right there, as Elk goes up in the top side looking for a play right there. I don't think they're going to dive this tower, though, but they're pushing it forward. They just might go for it. Or they're just going to look for some turret pressure. Now they're just going to back off after that one. Don't want to tempt fate with a Renekton there. And everything goes back to being all hunky-dory.
Yeah, honestly, these ganks in my head just aren't making a lot of sense. They're seeming very forced. Like the Renekton earlier went just ulted and then just tried to like run down to make it engage. And that one Dax came through, and looks like he took way more damage than they did. Like it was not even. Like things are being forced, and I feel like it's just being in the fact that the laners aren't really setting their junglers up for success. Much so in the pick that there's just not a lot of CC anywhere. I mean, Janna can slow you down and annoy you, but I'm not sure how forced we can make things.
Yeah, and Cadmus on Thresh gets pretty tanky. People always tend to forget that his passive does give him those souls, and they give like 0.75 armor per stack, but you get them pretty quickly, faster than a Senna soul. So he's already probably got like 15, 20 bonus armor. It's going to be a little bit hard to get through him early on, especially as there's very few stats on people right now. Ooh, but Kentucky gets hit with the ult from the Vars. He's trying to get away, goes forward, gets the ult to get out of there, and the Vars flash to try to grab something there. The spear going in. Oh, just misses Kentucky. Oh, that was so close.
That really was. It was so good. I don't know. It's getting close. Again, I feel like if the comp was a little bit different, so some type of engage, it would make it happen. And I feel like that's not necessarily bad. I mean, if that's what you want to do, but they're playing this way that they want to make things happen early, but they didn't pick a team to do that.
Yeah, I feel like a Rel would have been really good there. You know, if they once the Vars locked down, you get a Rel onto him to knock him up, you would probably secured that. But I understand where they're coming from. Again, this is a team fight comp, and they don't really have the team for a big out brawl. So having something that helps you disengage, I'm going to assume the Akali is going to try to split push later in the game. That's going to be something that you need the Janna for. You need to make sure that your four stack doesn't get just destroyed by Sword's beefy beefy comp and its dive. So it makes a little bit of sense, but it's going to make it hard for this laning phase. And it's going to be pretty hard unless she can hit a tornado to get a kill. I mean, they almost had it there. Honestly, just a couple, like just millimeter difference. millimeter step to the left or right could have been an easy kill onto Kentucky. So I think eventually they're just going to keep hammering at this bot lane, and eventually it will work. Like statistically, at some point it will work.
You are right. At some point, this game does have to conclude, and there does have to be somebody's nexus exploding. So something will happen.
Well, I mean, if the internet goes out, then just tie.
Punch the time clock. We're out. No.
I'm jinxing. It's like college rules. If your professor doesn't show up for 15 minutes, you get to go home.
I don't logistically want to think about that right now. You're giving me nightmares.
I had that happen in a class once. We didn't get to go home though, but the professor was 30 minutes late.
Oh.
I was like, what do I do? It's a 50-minute class. I only have 20 minutes of this. Oh, it was fun times. I have lots of stories about that class. It was absolutely amazing. I'll tell you them some other time. As we see the Herald getting dropped on the bottom side right here, looking to grab some plates for Sword, get a little bit more lead. Their gold is dead even right now, and they're going to be splitting it, sharing that gold. So not a lot in everyone's pocket, but the rest of BBZ is rotating down here. The Nidalee is in position. She does see the spear. Lights is down here too. They're looking for something, but Sword sniffing it out. They're like, there's something fishy in here. And it's not just the cat eating the fish.
Yeah, surprisingly not this time. And honestly, this is a really good game. I mean, there's not a lot of deaths besides that first one, but things are moving in different places and stuff. And I think I want to watch this.
Aqua going in, the ult with the Azir, not gonna hit. Shin just lightly walks to the left, lazily drifts to the left, and manages to dodge that right there. Let's watch this again on the instant replay. Aqua coming in, Shin goes forward, and yeah, he just does a light dash, just a light dash to the left, and gets out of that pretty easily, pretty safely, and everything going well. Meanwhile, though, that roam is the call for BBZ to go try to get this dragon. They're going to get the second of the game for themselves. Elk trying to get away. He's taking quite a bit right there. He's getting out with the lantern just fine. And now it is going to be Ocean Soul. So Sword has the soul that they are looking for, and 4 of them honestly be better than 2. So it might be all this long plan, a long con.
I mean, it would help if they had a dragon. You're right, but like.
Ooh, Elk going in right now. They're fighting over this red buff. They gotta be careful though. There's only 3 of them right here. The Poppy ult goes in, and bye goes the Nidalee. Gonna grab it at the smite and get out just fine. Ult for red is not a trait I would normally take, but when you want to stay ahead and you don't want to give up that pressure, it's probably a good idea to grab it.
Yeah, and like kind of something interesting that's not particular to the players playing right now, but behind the scenes. Chris Songo, in this case, was on BBZ last year, and his former teammate Shielded Valor and their coach, Geico, were all working together. But now this season, Chris has stayed on BBZ, and Shielded Valor is coaching Team Spear, and now Geico is also playing a role in coaching for Team Sword. So the way that these teams have split, it's kind of very cool to see that they were once together, but now they're working as opponents. So I'm loving the dynamic.
Ooh, Dax getting ulted on, gets the flash out. Here comes the Renekton teleport. Looking to grab something right here. They are going to fight it. Here comes Elk on the side. She is going to just go right out of there with this nice little Renekton dash again. They're doing very good getting out of things. Very slippery Crocodile. You don't usually expect him to be that fast, but this guy's very fast and very agile.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm about to maybe look up a Venmo and see if I can't, send someone money to make a death happen, because this is. I want blood, okay?
Well, I was actually about to say, I don't think half the champions in this match have blood. I mean, 2 of them, at least Thresh and Scion, as we see. Actually, I don't know if Azir does either. Do the Ascended have blood? Oh, I know Renekton does. I don't know if Azir does though.
Okay.
I don't know what's under the armor.
Not equipped for this nerd battle. You are right. Okay.
Hey, I like me some good lore. You find me a good something I like, and I find the lore. I'm just gonna get lost for hours in that. You should see me reading through Wikipedia sometimes. As 15 minutes in, we're still only 1 kill into the game. The gold is basically dead even at this point. but it might not be for much longer. The Poppy is down here. They don't see Elky's coming through. He does see Chris. The Tornado does come out. He's looking for this Varus. He does get him. Doesn't smash on the wall, though. Kentucky goes for the flash out, though, is going to get him to safety. Dax coming down, too, looking for something. I don't think he's going to really attempt it besides clearing these wards. And still waiting for that second kill. We got like the fastest kill already in this first day. But we're going to probably have the longest time for the second kill. I agree, though. I'm waiting for the blood. I want blood. I want brutal team fights. But I see why Team Sword wants to scale it up, and BBZ does not want to let them. They'll not want to make a mistake and give that over to Sword and let them just snowball this game.
To that, we've got to move in the direction of BBZ starting to siege things, and for that, they have to drop a tower somewhere. So for that, I would imagine that they're looking to try and take Rift Herald and start to crack something open from there, and then snowball the rest of the tower movements from there. So I'm really interested to see how these next 3 or 4 minutes of macro play into this, knowing that that's when the Rift Herald's coming back.
Yeah, and you see Ari Nidali hovering over on that side. Dax looking to maybe pick up that Herald if they can get a pick in mid lane or top lane, or if they catch that Poppy out on the bottom side. But Milk's coming up here. Dax going over the wall. I think he's going to start up the Herald right here after the scuttle. But Sword's sniffing it out. They are coming over. Azir had to back. And now they're not going to start it out. But the teleport does come out from Aqua in the mid lane right there. Getting some nice poke. He has finished his mythic item. He does have his Sword Shoe. So he is pretty dangerous right now for Lights. Lights doesn't really have any MR to deal with this. He just has that Doran shield. And the Sword Shoe is going to penetrate right through that. And he's putting the pressure on there. They might actually try for this, but Dax already on the Herald. And Lights going in onto Aqua. He does do the push right there. He's going in. Oh, the E almost. He realized he's a little too low to stay under that turret. Doesn't know if anyone else is nearby. And now King looking to maybe try to steal this. He's not going to. The Herald is going to get picked up by BBZ. And now King is trying to get out. She is going to chase him a little bit, but back up. And now Dragon on the sword table here for Sword. It looks like they're hovering around for it. Aqua getting shoved in the mid lane, though. He doesn't have the inside track here. Cadmus looking for a pick. Gets the hook right there onto the Nidali. They're going in right there. Aqua picks it up. It's actually onto the Janna, my apologies. And now they're looking for Lights. And she getting only half health. He's pretty beefy, but he's going to have to flash out of there to get out alive. The second kill on the board. It only took almost exactly 17 minutes after the first.
Wow, okay, we finally have some action. We have some very awesome things going on. So we've traded here objectives, or maybe not, because
this might have
more things to say.
Yeah, this might actually get really close. Aqua getting forced out right here. They're actually doing really good poke with this Nidali and this Varus. The ult does go wide from him, though. The chain's not going to land. They might actually grab this rank, too, and put themselves on sell point. Only 18 minutes into the game. Yeah, they're just giving it up. Sword's giving it all up.
For a second, I thought the Sword just had that, but I guess not throwing your gold lead by getting 2 or 3 people killed by a stray Nidalee spear or Varus Q. I guess it's one way to go, but like you said, they're on soul point now, which is very interesting. And again, despite the coming out on top of the original fight, BBZ has managed to secure the objectives once again.
Yeah, and they've managed to secure the gold lead too. It's not much, only about 500 gold, but without kills, it means that they're finding leads elsewhere. They're finding leads in the objectives. They're finding leads in the farm. I know. I mean, they still do have to put the pressure though. Like, if BBZ does not keep the pressure up, they're probably gonna lose the late game. Again, like they just do not have a strong team fight. Their whole point is sit Nidali and Varus in the back line. Just let them just keep poking and poking until someone's low, and then they try to assassinate them. But if Sword forces the issue and just engages hard onto them, like there's really nothing they can do. They're just poke champions. They don't really have a lot of basic attack damage. I mean, Varus kind of does, but he's not going to have that attack speed. He's running the poke Varus. So like, yeah, they've got to push the pace here. If they get that soul, it could probably delay how fast they need to push it, but they've got to start taking towers soon. If they let this go on another like 11 minutes and they don't get the soul, they're going to be in a very dangerous position.
That's a good point, yeah. And I know it's like 99% chance not to happen, but how interesting would it be?
Doc missing the spear right there. Light's going for the ult from the Azir going in. Aqua, ooh, just barely dodging a spear from the Nidalee. Meanwhile, on the top side, she tried to engage on King, but Elk is here as well. He's looking for him, the ult from the Renekton. Ooh, they got baited. Baited pretty hard right there. They stun into the wall, though. Renekton trying to get away. She getting kind of low. The ult right there from the Poppy to lock him in place, and King is going to pick up a kill for himself. First onto the Renekton, and a nice crocodile pair of shoes.
Yeah, she really just tried to put on their happy feet there. Tried to, originally started by dodging out of the Scion, which is why they were in that crevice. But then, just really try to dash through things, and it looks like they're sniffing him out. I wonder if they can find him. Oh.
They're looking for it. They do see him right there. They do get the spear on. King's probably going to die right here, but he is very beefy, so we'll have to see what they can do. He's going to go down, but let's see if they can get out. It is a Scion. Oh, he's just going to go for the farm. Yeah, always have to be careful. If we saw anything the other day in the LCS side, you cannot let a Scion just punch you. He will do a lot of damage. It's like it's, what, 10% of a target's max health per punch?
It's something crazy, or at least that's what it feels like in all my solo queue games. But like, this is why you must be very careful with where you back children, because you accidentally throw your perfect game.
Well, I mean, they've already lost 2 towers. They lost mid and they lost bottom, and I think the perfect game's already gone. And they also, don't have the 3 dragons.
I know what you're talking about. Objectives don't matter. It's all about.
What is this? What is this? Iron game? This is Call of Duty.
Yes, that is my story now. Thank you for painting it for me. I had no defense.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Exactly.
Alrighty, almost 22 minutes into the game, and the next dragon is up on the board in a minute and a half. You can already see BBZ trying to set up the vision game right there, clearing out the wards that Sword has dropped down. Aqua coming around right there. There's the Varus for some poke. Ooh, a nice little shuffle right there for Aqua to get out. Gets away from the tornado and the poke from the Varus. Good hit right there. You have to see if they're going to rotate down. Scion is still top side, but he does have the teleport, so he can get down here if needed. But, they got to have wards for that, so they got to make sure their vision stays up.
Yeah. And despite the replay that we had to show where they massacred our poor boy Azir, since then, he's been a lot better. Besides that little mishap, he's since been, we just saw him swerve out of the way of that Nidalee spear. We saw him hit the ultimate in the middle to disengage. So it is coming back through, as kind of an awkward and funny as the situation was. It seems like that was just a fluke. It seems like he's coming back around.
Yeah, Bird's got to learn to fly. The first time isn't always successful. It's after that. The second time out of the nest when they start making it. As long as they don't die the first time when they fall out. But yeah, he's found his wings. He's learned to fly. Good for the bird.
I don't know if that was comforting or not, but as soon as you started mentioning the bird deaths, I got uncomfortable.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, he didn't die, so at least it's all okay. They don't usually.
That's fair. Okay. Priority on this dragon just to make sure BBZ does not get the soul point. Let's see if we can make a reverse dragon system.
Yeah, Dax looking to get in here. They're not going to hold him out. The blue team is going to grab it for themselves. And now here comes the fight. Cadmus getting low. Ooh, Dax getting a beautiful spear to take him out just immediately. And now Sword is on the run. The Poppy Hammer comes in. There goes the peel with the Azir. Ooh, the rest of BBZ getting pretty low, but so is Sword. It's 4 down, make that 5, and it's gonna be an ace for BBZ.
Oh my goodness, that was so fun to watch in the aspect that almost everybody got really low, and then there was this weird Benny Hill theme music playing in the background as they just focused and chased them and killed themselves on accident. And in particular, I love the play from Lights there, where they were getting chased down and they hit the E and then they went back over to the wall, hung out for 3 seconds, and then followed back up and hit an R back right after safety. I can only imagine how frustrating that was trying to actually kill them.
Yeah, and it looked like it honestly might be good for Sword off the bat, but Dax with that spear, just like that, just dead thresh. That's automatically a 4v5. And in that situation, it's just a support. But he's a lot of your peel. He's a lot of your saving with the lantern to keep you away from lights. He's a lot of the slows to make sure that they can't reposition with his ult and hitting the hooks with his Q. It's it's got, that's why we were saying, like, you got to be careful. You cannot let this Nidalee just poke you out at the beginning of a fight. Same with the Varus. If they just keep hitting you, it doesn't matter how far ahead you are. You're just going to lose the fight straight up. And at this point, they're not even ahead. They're down 5k gold.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more at that point. Like, Thresh, in that, having been in that fight, if he pushed R, like, these moments where they were chasing to get kills, it would have secured him, I think, because they just couldn't move around as much. So I think that would have been a big game changer, like you're saying. But now we're at this point. Also really done good from like She, just because they were pushing top and they got such a sweet teleport in the middle that as soon as they got there, there was no like I have to catch up. It was like I'm already here. I'm putting a stun in and I'm changing the way this fight's going.
Yeah, but at least, you know, for Sword, they got the dragon. That's something. Cadmus on the flank right here looking for She. He's gonna miss the flay and the hook, and it's gonna be an out for him. Meanwhile, mid turret goes down for BBZ. They are pushing now towards that inhibitor turret, and you know it's starting to close in on Sword a bit. Like, you know, they do scale, but are they gonna get to that point at this rate is the question. Ooh, a big chunk onto Kentucky right there as She goes forward looking for Elk. I don't think Elk and Cadmus can take this even in a 2v1.
I absolutely don't think so either. And I don't think there's much that Sword can do, because this is the point that BBZ's been trying to get to. Nidalee with Night Harvester, Varus with the Dustblade. These poke damages are insane. They're running a 1-3-1 with Baron. They're trying to engage.
Hang on, Champion goes down. They do get the pick on the Varus, a shutdown onto the Poppy. You know, of those three, it's probably the one I'd want to give it to, but still, they've got something right there, and now BBZ is going to have to back off. They do grab that top turret, and they do grab the bottom one too, but at least, you know, they've halted the advance of BBZ. They've halted this gold lead from ballooning past the 7k point it's at right now, and now they've got a little bit of room to work with to get themselves back into this game.
You're right, because the players love to prove me wrong as soon as I start talking about something. But this is, I mean, that's when I talked about in draft about how it's harder for BBZ to execute this plan. This is what I'm talking about, in the fact that they misstepped and Champion Red was alone, so they got engaged on, and all of a sudden now BBZ, all those members that were in such a great siege position, have to pull out and try this again. In that effect, just because now your middle source is gone, you're down a player, you can still get engaged on from any other lane, and it looks like we're heading to a player pause.
I have been informed that it isn't actually BBZ who's called the pause. We'll have to wait and hear about what's going on right there. But never mind, it's already almost done. 2-1, and back in the game. That was short.
Perfect, excellent.
Someone want to take a sip of their soda. This is like, hang on, I need to get my my soda, my Wawa. I need that right now. Hang on, we're getting a little bit sweaty here. Dragon up in 45 seconds. So you're seeing everyone trying to position around that right now. Blue hiding out in a bush. Cadmus having to flash out right there to get away, and now BBZ has the inside track on this dragon. Let's see if Sword can make anything happen right here. King goes forward. He's trying to block for his team. They're going to have to engage before this poke gets a little out of hand, or very out of hand, more like it. As the hook goes in, goes wide. King going forward. He goes ult. He's going unstoppable. He gets right onto the Varus. He's getting the Q out. He gets a 3-man with that, but the Janna knocks him away. King's going to go down. Now they go forward. Kentucky gets the ult in, and he's going to have his support go down. He's looking forward. Now Kentucky goes down. The Azir ult's good, but it comes in a little late. Aqua's the only one alive. He's going to flash out, and it's going to be the... Oh, yep. Okay, it's just going to be a 4-for-1, but it's going to be Ocean Soul going over to BBZ.
Okay. There's a lot of things that happened in that fight. And once again, like, they got engaged on, but they just couldn't quite get the damage. I think that it was just the engage was too far forward that the rest of the team's going to catch up. And again, on the re-engage, Lights is looking very, very good on this Akali. Like, it's very impressive the way off that re-engage. Literally just flew circles around that back.
Yeah, it felt like Sword wasn't ready for that. It felt more like the side just accidentally ulted forward and hit him. I mean, it was a good hit. He got a lot of but he was already so low. They took 2 to engage, and by the time he gets in there, he's at a quarter health. He's basically dead already. And once he's down, like, he could get those punches in. They did stay in melee range, but the rest of the team is just like it's still hard to fight in 4-5. He can't use a CC. He can't try to slow them. He can only just punch. And the rest of the team was surprisingly really close in melee range. Azir was basically just on top of their Renekton. Wasn't able to get that distance he needed. The ult came a little bit late there for him too. I think if that had come a bit earlier and they were able to force them off and give themselves a little bit of breathing room and reset, I think that could have gone a little bit better for them. But what's done is done, and now they're going to have to try to deal with this Ocean Soul.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult, and like I think the big part of that too was that Janna Chris Songo over here was able to pretty much just trade back all the health with the ultimate for that initial trade. So by the time that the team got up, they were just pretty matched. But yeah, I think with Baron coming up, if their team hits
Hang on, it's going to be a fight right here. They're going on to She. He is going to get out. It was a nice stun onto him, though. He got pretty low. Ooh, so much damage onto Kentucky with that Varus Q. Or I think it was the Naily Spear. They look very similar with these skins. They're backing up right now, though. Sword trying to get away. Ooh, good escape right there. The Poppy ult does push back She, who did flash forward to try to grab that. But now the Scion is on the flank right here. Turret goes down for Sword. They're looking for something. Dak's going to take this blue, but is King going to try to find an engager? Chris is pretty far away from this team. He is back. He's safe. King looking to position. Maybe grab something here. More poke coming in. The Q does go wide from the Varus. Aqua on the side. They're looking for a fight right here. Ooh, he does get chunked out really quickly, though. Dax looking for something. Another spear going through. Goes wide onto Aqua. They're onto the Scion right now. The hook going in. Doesn't hit anybody. They knock She into the wall, but here comes Lights right in. Aqua's so low right now. Lights takes out the Kaisa. Lights takes out the Azir. And now they take out the rest of the team. And it's an ace over to BBZ in a very messy fight.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure what the goal. Like, I feel like if I were to guess right now, Sword's comms are very messy, and people are not on the same page. Because it seems like King Gator is trying to maybe make something happen, get positioned for ult, and there's just not a lot of follow up happening. It seems like they're very more trying to pull back the base or something in that fight.
Yeah, it feels like. I mean, it's early in the season, so, they'll get better as time goes on.
Yeah,
but right now, it feels like they're all trying to carry. I even saw the Thresh, he walked forward trying to, just basic attack enemies. Which, it's good, but you gotta peel for your carries, especially with an Akali just going over the wall on the side and just berserking her way through with her ultimate. Hook goes wide right there as the second inhibitor, goes down. And now Sword looking for something right here, trying to make a play. They're going for Lights. Lights is going to get out, though. And now the third inhibitor down. The entire base is cracked for Sword. And now they have to try to withstand this siege.
So it looks like BBZ's going to play it safe. They're going to go ahead and back and recall. And then it looks like then they'll make their move for the final push. I like macroly kind of the idea that BBZ's going for, but they are taking a lot longer to execute and close this game out than I think they need to.
I'd agree with that. I think they could go faster. I mean, with the Ocean Soul and the lead they gained, this has to go to almost 50 minutes before I think Sword is just going to trounce in fights, and I don't think it's going to get to that point. But like we sort of said, it was the second kill came at 17 minutes. In the 16 minutes since then, we've had so many more kills. We've had 17 more kills, almost a kill a minute. As that Far Assault had gone wide right there. Well, the emote's coming out. A little bit of taunt from BBZ. Cadmus getting poked out. He's already almost down to a quarter health. And now here goes for the Azir. Oh, ooh, on to the Varus. Elk's going to grab that kill onto Champion. And now BBZ's got to be careful. Their main poke damage is out. They still got the Nidali. They still got Lights. But I'm not sure if they're going to be able to grab everything else. She just kind of sneakily being here. He's just pretending he's a stuffed gator right now, hoping that they don't notice him. And it looks like it's working, actually. He's getting a little bit closer. Cadmus spots him out and goes, hey, wait a minute. Stuffed gators don't move. And they're just going to kind of try to escort these Baron super minions into the base. You can't really fight it, missing the Varus. But, the supers, it's a hard clear for Sword right now. As the Nexus turret's going down. One does go down. The second getting pretty low. There goes the Poppy ult. They knock the Gator away. And the siege still continuing. They're not letting these supers go. Doubles flooding into the base at this point. Don't think they're going to get that last one. They're just going to back out. But still, Sword's base just limping right now. The Renekton looking to back. I'm sure they've got a lot of gold after the last couple of minutes to grab something. Elk, though, ooh, he sees the ward, but he doesn't see the rest of them. They know he's there, waiting in the bush. Waiting. The tornado goes wide, though. Oh, that was
Oh
quite
my
unfortunate.
god.
So unfortunate.
You better put
Janna
an
so
emoji.
wide. Chris, what are you doing?
That was completely blind, and they all missed. Like, literally
Yeah.
Spirit Chant all of it.
But they have dissuaded them, at least temporarily, from the Baron, the Elder, sorry. Looking to grab something right here. Lights does hit onto Elk, does get stopped with the W. He's trying to find something here. His team's not here to back him up, though, so this is going to have to be a steal, but the ult comes in, and Champion just takes him out. This is going to be a free Elder going over to BBZ, and I think this is going to be the final push to end this game.
I hope so. Honestly, this, like I said, you literally have all the tools. You had Baron, you got your soul, now you have Elder. Go hit the Nexus. Go do it.
Do it. Just do it. What's up, Palpatine?
Yeah, somebody clip it and put that in for me.
Here comes the siege right now. No Baron minions, but with Elder, you really don't need it. Just the big amount of damage. The fake turret comes out from Azir. There goes the Azir. Oh my god, there was so much damage. Lights does go dominating, though. Takes out one. The Azir goes golden. He did grab the Janna, but at what cost? That cost is going to be their base, the turret, and the game. His King gets low, too. She not going to die there, but the explosion from the Elder for Champion grabs it, and BBZ is going to grab their first win of the split, or season. Excellent end to that game from BBZ. And they played, we thought with it going so slow that this would go over to Sword, but, BBZ manages to claw it back and blow up the game at the around the 17-20 minute mark.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as soon as they hit that point where they were able to get ahead, they got the Night Harvester and the Dust Blade. These poke damage went insane, and then they just sieged up every objective.
Look at that Varus damage. 37,000 damage. The next highest in the game, 28,000 on the Azir, which makes sense. He's shuffled a lot of people, but that Varus is just poking. He's just sniping people left and right, and it worked. It worked so well for their team, especially with that enhanced Janna E onto the Q. It was something I completely forgot about. Is it's still going to enhance his, even beyond his auto attack, it's going to enhance the Q damage. So it's like loading a cannon. You hit him with a little windshield, and he shoots his little blast at him like a cannonball.
Yeah. Overall, I think it was just really interesting to see something very different. This poke comp, as opposed to pretty much what we usually get is just team fights, or compositions. So I really love something new here. I'm kind of worried because it did seem a little bit messy in places, and I feel like against a higher ranking teams, especially like INT or even like the way UB looked today, I don't think it would have found as much success. But it was still a very good, well earned victory, though.
Yeah, and first game of the season, first week, yeah, everyone's gonna have a little bit of jitters trying to figure out what the meta is gonna look like for this season, what's kind of looking strong for this league. So I can forgive that today, probably tomorrow too. It'll be, I think, next week when we finally see teams having started figuring things out and what they think is the meta game they need to play here, but also start developing some more strategies for the teams they're going up against.
Couldn't agree more. So with that, that's our final game, and I believe we'll go ahead and throw it over to intermission, followed up with an interview.
All right, and with that, that is the last game of the day. It was BBZ versus Team Sword, and Sharigan's right here with you, and I've got Dax, BBZ's jungler. Been interviewing a lot of junglers today, I noticed. And it just seems like that seems to be the way it's going. Dax, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Happy about the win.
Yeah. So if I remember correctly, you were originally on ATL and you transferred over to BBZ, isn't that correct?
Yeah, I actually was their support sub last season. It's long story short, me and Red, our AD carry, actually somehow ran into Lost in a flex game, and then he recruited me to Atlas as a sub at the start of last split for them, and then I got all my experience there before coming to BBZ over the season's gap.
Still, you're transferring from support over to jungler. That must have been a little bit of a game shift, huh?
Actually, it was a shift back. You know, I was actually transferring from jungle to support last season, and because I was getting kind of burnt out in jungle. But this, with the item reworks and the jungle changes, I kind of went back this split. And I've been enjoying the jungle like way more than I did in previous seasons.
Okay, that's probably, I hear a lot of people who are like, man, the jungle's not in a good place right now. You're saying jungle's in a great place. I guess it's different strokes for different folks, pretty much, which kind of leads me into this next thing. So you've played previously with in our seasons, so you now had the opportunity to kind of test out the new blood with Team Sword. What were your first impressions?
Well, I would say today's game wasn't actually a first impression since we played against them in our best of 3 for qualifiers last week. So we had 2 games on them actually prior to this, where we went 2-0 in that game. So we actually had a ton of prep work that we took from last week and just reapplied it to this. We had some comps that we weren't able to try out due to winning 2-0 last week. So this was actually our 3rd game comp. So that's what we just thought we could take it into this game and try it out.
So is that why you guys gave up the quickest first blood, and then for the next 15 minutes there was absolutely nothing going on?
Yeah. Actually, I just face checked that. We actually did the same thing the first in those 2 games last week, so I should have expected it. And I face checked a bush and died, but we always had a game plan to not go for kills early. So yeah, that's actually why exactly that happened.
Okay. So that actually makes it, that's kind of funny that the same mistakes just keep repeating themselves, obviously that. So my last question that I've got for you though is, how nerve-wracking is it playing with Cross Songo, the guy who basically makes or breaks your friend or foe career, because this is kind of his baby?
It's excellent playing with Koshi-sama. He's a god amongst men and a beautiful person, and what an artist. Like, do you see that new BBZ icon that we have right now? Honestly, it's just fun because I tell him this every time we go into a game for BBZ right now, is you can say goodbye to FOF Chris Sunga and say hello to BBZ Cross Songo, because that's who you become when we enter the Rift. And so it's super fun. And he's such a great player for not getting to play too much since he's running the show behind the scenes. So
I definitely think his Janna ults were coming in clutch this game. Like, there were a couple of times where I thought you guys were gonna bite it, but immediately just pop.
Oh yeah, and you should look up the Alistar play from game 1 of last week. He was bopping the Nunu around. He didn't let him do anything. So Koshi's got quite the pool behind him. And he likes to grief us a little bit. You guys saw that Janna tornado late game today.
Yeah, just a little bit, All right, Dax, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That is gonna be that's gonna be all it is for you. I think we've got one more break, and then we're gonna be coming right back with one more FOF Lounge. Stick around, don't go away. Thank you, Dax, so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, and welcome back to the Friend or Foe Lounge. Shargan's here with Bean Jar
Yay.
and Edwin.
What's up?
Not much. How are we doing today, guys?
I'm doing
What do you
pretty
think?
good. I'm tired.
You're tired? Yeah, it's been a long day of intense games, and then we're gonna round it off with BBZ versus Team Sword. What are your first impressions off of this?
I after seeing that game, I loved the dragon control. Just the objectives, it was just good. Like, because most of it was even. You didn't have a kill for like 16 minutes for at some point in the mid game, but as long as you get the objective control, it's probably worthwhile.
Yeah, on top of that, I think BBZ is just individually just better than Team Sword. I like that She-Hole and Champion Red always had prio and giving Dax the ability to like invade the enemy jungle to like either steal camps or just get vision out. And speaking of vision, BBZ's vision was just like on point, always seeing what the enemy team doing and just thinking ahead what to do next.
Yeah. Now, I do have to say that I think it's kind of interesting. Like when after conducting that interview, where we learned, because I was actually kind of unaware of this, like I had completely forgotten. Team Sword fought BBZ in the qualifiers, and so they'd already played 2 matches. So this is technically BBZ's 3rd match, and they've only played Team Sword, so they haven't been exposed to the rest of the league yet, and they haven't seen the rest of the other teams in the series. And I feel like what we were seeing with Team Sword, yes, they didn't come out on top this game, but there were a lot of plays that were like going really, really well, going perfectly for them. And then all of a sudden that Janna ult would go off and immediately it would turn it around for BBZ.
Yeah, I mean, whoever was running the draft for BBZ was pretty, great job on picking the Janna because there's a lot of engages from Team Sword with both Sion and Azir. But whenever Crossongo would just press R, it would just nullify everything they have.
Yeah, I'd say that draft was like deceptively good because I'm thinking as the channel points are being bet and everything is going on and I see those lock-ins going in my head at first I was like, okay, BBZ's team comp is the worst thing I've ever seen, but then you see like the little points where it actually pays off in the actual like in play, not on paper.
True, and seeing it in play, I mean, Lights was on fire as a Kali. He's always at the back line, disrupting the other team, like splitting their attention from BBZ's front line to just try to focus on him to kill him. But yet he'll go in, get a few kills, and come back alive.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's exactly my point. It's like it's kind of one of those situations where you have a team that just looks better on paper with Team Sword, and then they actually play really well. But there's that one linchpin that was available for BBZ, and so I think that's something Sword needs to take away from this. Is they should not come out of this feeling let down. Like they definitely put up a huge fight. That early kill, I mean, it's a little bit of a cheese kill, like face check in the bush like that. But at the same time, it's like, hey, you got to take what you get. If you're going to feed them something on a silver platter, you got to eat it. And so I think Sword needs to realize, hey, we've got to make sure that we're locking down those key targets that are just disrupting everything. Because one of the things that I also noticed, there was no anti-heal on their in their builds. Like the only anti-heal I think was a Bramble Vest on Scion, and you don't want just that because he's going to be in the back line and everything, but at the same time it's like he's going to go down pretty quickly.
Yeah, this season I would say heal has been more broken than, in previous seasons, and it seems that anti-heal kind of doesn't really do its job as it should, but still, weak anti-heal will always be better than no anti-heal at all.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to build Morellos or get the immortal reminder, you might as well just replace your flash with Ignite.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, it's really exciting because obviously we get to see Cross Songo in the Rift. He definitely was putting in the work there. If we're looking at those KDAs, he's got 19 assists. So that's not a small number to shake at, and especially if you just look at the other side on the side of Team Sword. But I am looking forward to seeing Sword grow. I'm looking forward to seeing playing some of these other teams, seeing how they improve. And then it's going to be really exciting seeing exactly how BBZ's going to take this momentum and turn it into something else later.
Yep.
Yep. And with that, let me check with our producer. I believe. Yeah, so I think, is that it for the day? Have we got anything else? Any messages from our sponsors?
That's it.
We're done for the day. So with that, I want to say thank you all for sticking around for as long as y'all did. If you stuck around for the whole broadcast, we really appreciate it. Everyone who did a follow, let's see here. We had a couple of people drop in some new people here. We have to thank Thoki2, Forgive Psych, Wild West Wild, Agent SA, Mucho Quigs. Thank you for the sub. Thomas 101, Robin RFL, Alfonso and EP Sands, Liberty Dan 123, Kimber Wolf, Civlock, Caleb 9203, Orphic Too Thick, Vex QZ, Jeff Pog Player. We're gonna go through this whole list right here. I'm gonna get through it all. Whirler 98 Live,
bro.
Theresa Lesser Potato, LT Dax, Jelly Nuts we had in here. And then I think that's it for the day. Thank you all so much for the follow. We really appreciate it. It's wonderful having you all here. We do this for fun. This is absolutely something we're doing in our free time just because we can, because why not? I mean, we all love the game, so we all want to just have fun. We're all professional. Bean Jar, once week, you have anything you want to close this out with?
Please come back again Friday for the Mythic League.
Yeah.
Oh, and tomorrow, tomorrow as well.
Yep, tomorrow is going to be our second day of the Heroic League. We're going to be having some really interesting games. Let me double check who the first game is. Off the top of my head, I am blanking. If I could get a producer to help me out here. I don't have my schedule in front of me. I usually do. I closed it by accident.
Well, I'll be in for a good surprise. But anyways, that's it for today. I'll see y'all later.
Yeah, with that, greatly appreciate it. Let me see here. Yeah, with that, thank you all so much. Have a wonderful night. We'll catch you all tomorrow.